boy. So, people, are in a mood sometimes and maybe they feel bad about not feeling good and you feel guilty. And today's show, ladies and gentlemen, is It's Okay Not to Be Okay. Here we go. And why is beer bad? The obvious. We're going to talk about that. And why do haters hate? So, what's up, everybody? Wellness Week live. Don't forget, like, subscribe. And my co host, Dr. Magnus. I am a DJ. He's DR, and I am in New Jersey. He's in Cali. All right, here we go. So, Magnus, let's talk about this. So, I think there's a lot of people hear about this and say, the phrase, it's okay not to be okay. And what does that mean? So, it means what it says. Like, if you're feeling like shit, don't make yourself feel like shit because you feel like shit. We all, everything's a season. And what do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's gotten worse because I think a lot of people are like with social media and everything like that, like FOMO is I mean, it has become more of a it's actually I think it's more of a disease than anything else. And I think that people are feeling really bad when they're scrolling through everybody's highlight on how awesome their life is. And they kind of forget that this is just a highlight relay of people's life.
Yeah.
And they become upset. Maybe it's like, why am I not like, why don't I have this, why don't I have that? And we seldom have a tendency to forget that enjoying and being happy of what we have.
Right. And then that's like a prelude, I think, to not being okay, and then we feel like shit, exactly, and we think, what's wrong with me? But it's all intertwined, right? That fear of missing out, the everyone has a better life than I do, and then you feel like shit, and then you feel like shit for feeling like shit. But my thing would be like, it's okay to feel like shit too. I think that's the other thing. I think we're so quick in this society to pop a pill, pop a pill, pop a pill, or smoke pot, or drink ourselves.
Yeah.
It's okay to feel like shit. You don't always have to be chipper and happy. It's okay to have a day or two or three or a week of, I feel like shit. I feel sad. It's okay. And you don't have to be popping pills for that. I think, if it goes further than a week and it's a constant pattern, you got to talk to your doctor, whatever. But yeah, I think people are so quick to, you can't have one sad moment. You can't cry. You can't, go ahead. You're laughing.
I mean, like looking at it, like, do you think that the paleo man and woman were happy all the time?
Oh,
Talking about like a shitty life, like
right.
either you're about to starve to death and hunting your ass off, or you're getting hunted by some large predator.
Right. Well,
Talking about stress and having a bad day.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I forgot where I was watching some documentary about this particular tribe in Africa, or really for that matter, any kind of country where it's not I guess a third world country. And one of the people in this country in Africa was saying that we don't have depression here. We don't have we don't have depression here. And I think kind of what you're saying is like they're busy working. Someone said this phrase.
They're busy surviving.
Correct. They're busy working. They're busy, and they have great social connections where they actually see people face to face every friggin' day. So somebody was saying that depression is like a rich person's problem. You have so much, and you're lonely because you're on social media. You got your house, your home, and I think there's some truth there. Obviously, anybody can be depressed anywhere in the world, but I don't think there's less depression in countries where there is great social connections, where people are actually busy working and not like, I'm an Instagrammer, I'm a social media or I live in my mommy's basement and I play video games all day. It's like those people probably would feel more depressed, than someone that's like, yo, I'm working 15-hour days. I got my family, I got my friends. Like that person, right, doesn't have the luxury to be depressed. And again, depression is a real thing, no doubt. I'm not trying to marginalize it, but it's levels. Anyways.
Yeah, I heard something interesting the other day is that also when you look at the blue zones, when we're talking about where people grow very old and they have basically we're talking about the Mediterranean diet and the Japanese diet and so on and so forth. One thing that they kind of start pointing at now too is that they have very strong social connections that you're talking about. That is one of the key drivers for you to be having a healthy and long-lasting life. And I think that now in our day and age, and if you're looking at Western society, we have lost a lot of that, like social interaction. And our social interaction could be while we're sitting in the car. Yeah,
Right.
we're sitting in the car and flipping each other off because
Right.
people are driving bad or whatever you're
Right.
angry at, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
And
No, no,
that's not healthy.
100%. And again, I don't want to go too far off this because originally I was just saying it's okay to feel sad too. So when somebody in the guy in Africa that was saying like, oh, we don't have depression here, sadness here. I think, I'm sure they do, but maybe not as much as other countries. But again, I don't want to veer too far off of it. But my point is, it's okay to feel sad, and it's an emotion, just like it's okay to laugh. It's okay to cry. Anyways, but yeah. So now, before I move on to beer,
one thing that I want to add to that, though, yes, we should definitely our emotions should go up and down, but they shouldn't swing extremely up and down. And I think that we're it's the same thing. Like, why intermittent fasting is good to do for people for a while is to understand that being hungry is not bad. It's just a way. It's a physical thing. Like, we can deal with that too. We're not gonna starve to death. And it's fine. And I think it's also fine to understand that your emotions should change over time, because otherwise you don't know, like, what is happiness. If you don't know what sadness and stress and things like that is, the other emotions that we have, how are you supposed to know that you're happy?
Right. Yeah. You need the dichotomy. You need the striking difference, right, to really appreciate the other. And again, it's okay to be sad. I guess if it's just intense, or if it's a pattern that's really long, then you got maybe a problem. Even seasonal depression is fine. It's the winter. You're sad. There's not enough sun out. Whatever. Okay. Now let's talk about beer. So beer is bad for you. So, I know that sounds like, well, maybe it might be obvious or sounds stupid. Like, well, duh, man, beer's awesome or whatever. But, I was thinking, a lot of our problems in our country come from beer, come from wine, come from alcohol. Alcohol. I put a stat up, and you probably saw it on Facebook, saying that alcohol kills more people in America than fentanyl, more people than cocaine combined. So alcohol is the most deadly drug actually in our country, but it's okay because, it's on billboards and it's fun. And people, I think when they think alcohol, they think maybe like, whiskeys and bourbons and vodka. No, beer. That beer that you're enjoying, that's not good for you. And it can be alcohol's a poison according to the CDC. So I'm not saying make it illegal, but I hope it will go the way of cigarettes, where it's like you can buy it, but nobody wants to poison themselves. What say you, Magnus?
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, first of all, people think that, okay, I'll have a beer. It doesn't have that much alcohol. You look at the back, it's 4%, 6%, 7%, but then you also have all the IPAs and things like that are really creeping up into like higher percentage of alcohol. And people basically drink it like it's soda or like water. It's like, well, it's like, well, that's a joke that American beer is close to drinking water, right? So I think that, like, people don't really understand how dangerous it is, and how many people stay at one beer. I'm gonna have one beer.
Nobody does.
No, I mean, you're a 6-pack or a 12-pack deep all of a sudden.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And by the way, I think people think, well, yeah, I get it. Alcohol's a problem, but they think like of dead people. No. Even though you're not an alcoholic, you're hurting your liver. You're making your muscles weak. Do you want strong muscles or weak muscle? You're making your brain weak. Right. People don't get that. It's like, just because you're not on a park bench throwing up doesn't mean you're doing good. Again, like a little bit of alcohol, a little bit of disease, a little bit of destruction. Really, that's how it works. I mean, so, ladies, if you want good skin and beautiful hair and beautiful nails, stop drinking alcohol, stop drinking wine, stop drinking margaritas. It's not good for your hair. It's not good for your skin ever, period. Guys, you want muscles? If you think you're strong now, get off.
And you don't want a bear gut. You don't want a bear gut? Like, that's the name. Why it's called a bear gut, because of one thing. I mean, I mean, I think also one thing that people have a tendency to forget, that even like a small dosage of alcohol affects your sleep a lot.
It affects your sleep.
You don't get deep sleep, and you don't get that rest that you need. So then you're waking up, and then you're like either self-medicate with like coffee or whatever, Adderall or whatever it is, you know. So you're constantly on a roller coaster of pick me ups and wind downs, you know.
And guys, and guys, if you want to be a good lover in the romance area, alcohol is not it. Alcohol is going to actually make you not perform. You might think it relaxes you, but actually it constricts the the boys or the boy or the guy, whatever you want to call it down there, the three-piece suit. But anyways, yeah. So I just and I'm not talking about.
Then we should add too. I mean, it contains a lot of calories, and it does not contain like any like good nutrients either. So like it packs. I mean, it's one of the, like, when you're looking at it from a nutrition standpoint, it's not good at all, you know. And then people start saying, yeah, well, red wine is good for you have, it's been proven. No, come on. I mean, first of all, the little dosage that you get of the good stuff, I mean, the bad things outweigh that by far.
Well,
so
I laugh when I hear the wine thing, because the wine thing is analogous to frying an onion. An onion is good, but when you fry it, it loses all nutritional value. So it's like wine. Red wine would be good because of obviously, as you know, the grape skin resveratrol. The only problem is it has alcohol in the same, so it negates it. And I think people think, well, people in the blue zone drink wine and they're healthy, but not because they drink wine, because they get up off their ass and walk and eat fish. It's a correlation. It's not a causation. I mean, the CDC says alcohol at any amount is toxic. So. You're not getting, the wine is bad for you. Don't drink it. But and by the way, just want to say, I'm not talking about you toast on New Year's or you're at a wedding. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about weekly consumption of alcohol. You have a big problem.
I would say daily, almost like daily drinking, because like people come home and they need to relax. And I said, they're in this like loop of pick me ups and wind me downs. And that is really, really bad. It's really, really bad. And I mean, you can add on to other things too, like smoking cannabis or eating cannabis just to get that up and down. I mean, same thing there. I mean, if you're gonna do it, you need like low dosages, and you should actually also look into why you're having issues of sleeping or why you're having issues of actually having energy when you wake up.
Yeah, well, we gotta do it
rested when you wake up.
100%. Yeah, we got to do another show on pot too, because pot's the new it girl. And in an ideal world, and I get it, God bless, you want to smoke pot, knock yourself out. But if it's I don't know. Last time I checked, there's no pulmonologist on earth, no doctor's going to be like, you know what you need? Your lungs would love marijuana. No, they wouldn't. God made our lungs not to have smoke of any kind in them. And I get it. People are dying of diseases, and pot helps. I get it, and I understand people say, oh, my nerve. I understand that, but I think
but Anthony, again, a lot of those people, it's like, now we're not talking about people with cancer or anything like that, but a lot of people that say it's like it's also like a form of self-medication.
Of course.
You are still masking the problem, and you're not actually taking care.
Yes.
And that's what it comes down to many times. Like
100%.
Actually doing, like, taking the due diligence of actually like figuring out what the real problem is. It could be hard work, and it could also be like you actually have to go to
therapy,
therapists and things like that.
Well, see, they don't want to do that.
Digging in things, and that's not fun. It can't be fun, but hopefully there's light at the end of the tunnel. That actually, when you come out of it, like you're forcing yourself to evolve as a person. Even if it's hard. I mean, again, like what people don't understand too is like we, as a race, like a humans, do good with hardship. That's when we excel. Right. And I think that's another thing that we could talk about too in another show, that life has become too easy for too many people. We have nothing to struggle with or anything like that.
All right, that's getting into problems. And by the way, you hit the nail on the head. If you're smoking pot, you're trying to solve a problem the easy way, right? The underlying problem, and you have to really drill down. Why are you smoking pot? And if you're eating right, sleeping right, proper relationships, you're not drinking beer and soda and sweet drinks, and you're exercising. you're probably not going to need marijuana. But the marijuana is the easy way out. And I get it. There are people who are dying and they should smoke pot. But most people out there smoking pot, they don't want, like you said, they don't want to address the 800-pound gorilla in the room. It's easier to essentially wink, wink, pop the pill, aka marijuana or beer or whatever. And that's a patchwork. It's a Band-Aid. You got to really drill down, right? But I get it. Anyways, it's easier not to drill down and address the problem. So. Okay, Magnus.
Yeah, beer at the end of the day, one beer, fine, but drinking beer constantly all the time, every day, even if it's just one beer every single day, it's not good. Your body's going to pay for it, and you're going to age because you're messing up your sleep and a lot of other things.
Oh, 100%. All right, so let's talk about this. Why do haters hate? And we all joke around that about, haters going to hate. And I forgot who I was talking to recently, but I said, why do haters hate? And by the way, here's the insidious kind of prolific thing here. I think, haters are oftentimes not bad people. They're not evil. They're not, doing anything illegal. There might be people in our family, friends even maybe, or acquaintances. But I think people hate on others because they're jealous, because they're insecure. And I think they do a lot of passive aggressive shit. Like, they're not going to tell you, I'm not happy for you, Magnus, but they'll be like, oh, Magnus, why'd you do that? You should have done this. What? Like low key hating, throwing.
Yeah.
Hindsight
is 2020. It's easy to actually say something. And again, like, I think it comes down to this. And I think it's like misery loves company, right?
Yeah.
If you're not like enjoying your life, it's easier to point out every other's faults and issues too.
Right.
And one of the main things, like when we're talking about business and anything like that, it's better to do something, even if it's wrong, and then correct it than not doing anything at all.
Of course. And I think haters, right. And again, it's a little bit strong of a word, or maybe like whatever you want to call it, envious or jealous. And I don't think that, anyway, so haters are people who I think they're insecure and like they'll do shit like this. Like Magnus, let's just say, okay, Magnus, you're in really good shape. Magnus works out. Magnus eats right, and someone might say, well, that's easy. Magnus has got good genetics. That's fucking hating. It's like, no, even if Magnus had good genetics, you didn't see the fucking 10 hours of work Magnus put in today. It's like, that's hating. It's like when people do shit like that, passive aggressive. It's like, well, easier because Magnus doesn't have 5 kids like me. Hater, like don't do that, or easy. Magnus got good genes. Hater. Why don't you just be happy? Say, wow, Magnus, that's great, man. You got, amazing physique and you work hard. Most people don't do that shit. It's like, and so, you see that and people say, oh, or comes easy to her, or comes easy to him. No, it doesn't. The fucking guy, like, what a hater, and oftentimes they're in our families.
Yeah. But then you also see like the overnight success, all the hard work that they put in for 10 years. You never see that because they were not famous at that time or whatnot, Right. So of course we're gonna have the people that are fortunate or whatever we're gonna do, or that they're just skilled at something and they excel really, really fast at it.
Yeah,
that's fine, But it comes down to I think that again, social media that kind of is a negative thing for people, and then it adds on to that is that people don't understand that everybody could be a winner almost
in their own ways. Of course.
You're better off of surrounding yourself with positive people, and that doesn't mean that they don't have to tell you the truth. If you're doing something stupid, they will probably tell you.
Right.
But they're also curious and also happy for you when you succeed, and also because again, success builds success, and that's just the way.
Metal sharpens metal, 100%.
Yeah, and I think that I know, I've changed over time. I was more negative and kind of, I wouldn't say that I was hating on people, but I was just more negative before.
Yeah,
that changed with me over time, and I think that I have a little bit more positive outlook on life and my surrounding. And to be honest, I feel so much better.
Of course, you don't spread that cancerous thought. By the way, I've hated on people from time to time. When I say hate, like you're like I said, passive aggressive, like, oh, that's easy. Their dad bought them that, or their mom bought them that. Instead of me, and I have to catch myself and say, wait, stop, Anthony. don't do that. Like, they earned it, or even if it was a gift from their mommy or dad, whatever it is, it's like, you know what, good for you, enjoy. You know what I mean? Like, and like you said, you feel better. But yeah, it pisses me off when people say that shit. It's like, well, they made all these millions because their dad started them off with a couple million. Yeah, but you know what? He or she could have pissed that millions away and been a bum. They built on that. So why don't you, be happy for them? And so people are, or it's easy. She's so beautiful. He's so handsome. It's like, come on, like, and it's low, and you see it on a macro level too. It's just like, who's oh, well, right, they have privilege of this or privilege of that, and no doubt there's privileges, and there's levels to privilege, no doubt. But I always say this: if you're standing on American soil, you have privilege over easily 3 billion people on Earth, easily, just by standing on U.S. soil. You got it better. Now, how about that privilege? Oh, we don't want to talk about that, though, right? No. How about that privilege? If you're standing on U.S. soil, you got it easier than billions of people all over the world. I'm not saying the whole world, but a whole lot, just by being, on the soil. So it's just like, cut the shit. I mean, yes, obviously, if you're born to Bill Gates, you're going to have advantages. Or maybe that's a disadvantage, because you were saying, Magnus, when everything is given to you, you get soft. The people who rise to the top and are the best of the best had to come through pressure, and so look at who we admire in our lives throughout history. And I'm talking the top of the top. They usually came from fucking the slump. Look at what's his name? I just read his biography or his unauthorized biography, but Jeff Bezos from Amazon. Okay, he was adopted. He worked on a friggin' farm, Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos on a farm, okay? Baling hay, okay? Let's not, but nobody wants to mention that.
Elon Musk had the same thing too, like he had some issues too, like that. What I don't think his mom, like his dad bailed and things like that.
Right, and people can say, sorry to interrupt, but people can say Elon Musk because someone, oh, well, he had it easy. Maybe he didn't have it as hard as everybody else, but he could have pissed his opportunities away too. By the way, there's a lot of people who piss tens of millions away, and they're in park benches living in a cardboard box. So I mean, like, my point is, having adversity can also be an advantage. So it's anyways, but my point is,
but that is an issue that you're seeing today now when we have the participation trophy mentality, and we're not like winning or losing because we're not counting goals or score or whatever. I think that like we're doing everybody a disfavor. I mean, it's like kind of like we're sorry about that. We're trying to shoot from like the lowest of the low instead of trying to get people to become better, right?
Right. Yeah.
So it's that's what I think is so weird, that like why not trying to push people like the people like lower, trying to get them better instead of like everybody needs to come down to the bottom level.
Because I think again people are insecure, and even people who have millions and billions of dollars can be very insecure, right? They want to push, not everybody, but they want to push others down, or the people who are, it doesn't really matter because haters are at every level, and I think hating comes from jealousy, insecurity. And you can have muscles and money. It doesn't mean you're not insecure. So, and you could be poor. It doesn't mean you're humble. You could be also insecure. So it's one of those things. But my point is, like I think it comes from insecurity and fear. That's why people hate, or their haters are jealous.
100%. I agree. 100%.
Anyways, but anything else you want to add before we wrap up? Now I got myself all pissed off now.
Yeah. No. Take 10 deep breaths. Relax, it's gonna be fine. We're all good. And I think that the thing that I want to summarize it with is like we can all do good if we actually work together and are happy for each other, than constantly trying to like we're not crabs in a bucket. We don't have to pull each other down. We can actually help each other up instead, because if one comes up, it's easy for them to grab you and pull you up too. So
it's a win-win, no doubt. We'll leave it on that awesome note, Magnus. Thank you. You're a philosopher now. That's great. But anyways, thanks, everybody. Hey, check back in. A bunch of great shows coming up, everybody. And Magnus, thank you. Enjoy the...
Thank you, Anthony.
By the way, it's going to be 82 degrees tomorrow here in New Jersey. So
you are going to have warmer weather than we do.
Southern Cal, where you are.
We might start getting into the 70s now. It's been cold, but it's starting to get a little bit warmer during the day.
Yeah. All right, man. Good to see you, buddy.
All right.
Thanks, everybody. Signing us off. Bye.